Scottish League One might not have the giant stadiums of the Premiership, but it still has some fascinating grounds packed with history, character, and passion. In this video, we're counting down the 20 biggest stadiums in the 2024-25 Scottish League One, ranked by capacity. Let's dive in. 10. Dumbarton Football Stadium. First up, we head to Dumbarton Football Stadium, also known as The Rock. This stadium sits in Dumbarton, West Dunbartonshire, just on the banks of the River Leven. Built in 2000, this stadium replaced Dumbarton's old Boghead Park, which was the longest-serving football ground in Scotland at the time. The move to a modern home was a big step for the club, even if the stadium remains one of the smaller ones in the country. With a capacity of 2,020, Dumbarton Football Stadium is one of the smallest stadiums on this list. What makes it special? Well, it has just one main stand, but what a setting. The stadium is overshadowed by the breathtaking Dumbarton Rock, a volcanic plug that once housed a medieval castle. 9. New Central Park. Next up, we travel to Kelty, Fife, home of New Central Park, the proud fortress of Kelty Hearts. Originally built as a junior football ground, New Central Park has gone through massive upgrades in recent years. The biggest change came in 2018, when Kelty Hearts made the leap to senior football, joining the Scottish football pyramid. The club invested heavily in modernizing the ground, adding a synthetic 3G pitch, better seating, and new floodlights. With a capacity of 2,181, this stadium is compact but well-equipped. The main stand gives fans a perfect view of the action, and the 3G pitch ensures games go ahead no matter the weather. Kelty Hearts have quickly become a force in the lower leagues, winning the Lowland League in 2021 and securing back-to-back promotions. 8. Galabank. Galabank is one of Scottish football's most unique grounds. It sits right by the River Annan, which means it can get seriously cold, especially on winter nights. It's been home to Annan Athletics since 1953, but the club only joined the SPFL in 2008 after the collapse of Gretna FC. The ground has a mix of seating and terracing, with a capacity of 2,504. It was upgraded with floodlights and a 3G pitch to meet SPFL requirements. Though it's not the biggest stadium, its intimate setting makes it a tough place for visiting teams. 7. Balmoral Stadium. Balmoral Stadium is one of the newest in League One. Opened in 2018, it replaced the old Allen Park, which had been Cove Rangers' home for nearly 70 years. The club built the new ground as they prepared for promotion to the SPFL, and it paid off. With a capacity of 2,602, it features a modern artificial pitch and seated stands. It's not the biggest stadium in Aberdeen, Pittodrie is still king, but for a club with big ambitions, it's a solid base for the future. 6. Recreation Park. Often called the Indodrill Stadium for sponsorship reasons, this is a ground with serious history. Alloa Athletic has played here since 1895, making it one of the oldest stadiums in the league. It has a capacity of 3,100, with a mix of terracing and seating. One of its standout features is the synthetic pitch, which allows games to go ahead even in Scotland's worst weather. Alloa has spent time in the Championship in recent years, and their stadium remains one of the best in League One. 5. Ochilview Park. This stadium has a capacity of 3,746 and is located in Stenhousemuir, Falkirk. Ochilview Park was built all the way back in 1890. That's over 130 years of history. Despite its small size, it has seen some incredible moments in Scottish football, especially in cup competitions. Stenhousemuir aren't the only club to have played here. East Stirlingshire also called Ochilview home for over 15 years. Today, it remains a compact and atmospheric ground, with a single large stand on one side and open terracing on the other. It may not be the biggest, but with its tight pitch and passionate fans, it's always a tough place for away teams to visit. 4. Lynx Park. Next up, we head to the Angus Coast, where we find Lynx Park, home of Montrose FC. This stadium has a capacity of 4,936 and has been in use since 1887. Like many traditional Scottish lower league grounds, it has a mix of old-school terracing and a main stand. What makes it unique? It actually has a 3G artificial pitch installed back in 2015, making it one of the more modern playing surfaces in League One. Montrose has spent most of their history bouncing between Scotland's lower leagues, but Lynx Park has always been their fortress. And while the North Sea winds can make conditions brutal, the fans here are always up for a battle. 3. Gayfield Park. Now, if you're looking for the coldest football stadium in the world, look no further than Gayfield Park in Arbroath. This place has a capacity of 6,600 and sits just a few yards from the North Sea. Built in 1880, it's one of the oldest grounds in Scottish football. But what really sets it apart is its brutal conditions. During winter matches, the wind and rain coming off the sea make it feel like a battle just to stay warm. One legendary game in 2010 saw temperatures drop so low that fans were literally freezing their drinks before they could finish them. And players? They've spoken about how controlling the ball in high winds here is nearly impossible. But despite the cold, Arbroath has been a thriving club, and Gayfield Park has become a true fortress for them. If you want a stadium that tests both skill and endurance, this is it. 2. Caledonian Stadium. From the North Sea, we head up to the Highlands, where we find the Caledonian Stadium. This is home to Inverness Caledonian Thistle and has a capacity of 7,512. Compared to some of the older grounds, this one is relatively modern. It was built in 1996 when Caledonian and Inverness Thistle merged to form a single club. With its spectacular views of the Moray Firth, it's one of the most scenic football grounds in the country. But don't let the beauty fool you. The winds up here can be just as harsh as at Gayfield Park. Caledonian Stadium has hosted some massive games over the years, including Scottish Premiership matches and even European qualifiers. And of course, who can forget Inverness's legendary Scottish Cup win in 2015? This ground will always have a place in Scottish football history. 1. Palmerston Park. Finally, we have Palmerston Park, the home of Queen of the South, with a capacity of 8,690. Located in Dumfries, this stadium dates all the way back to 1919. It's a ground full of history, and for decades, it was one of the biggest stadiums outside Scotland's top flight. One of its most unique features? The massive terracing behind the goals. Palmerston Park still has some of the biggest standing areas in Scottish football, giving it an old-school atmosphere that many modern grounds just don't have. It's also famous for its pitch, which was once the first in Scotland to install an artificial surface back in the 1980s. Although they've returned to grass, Palmerston remains one of the most historic and intimidating venues in League One. And there you have it, 10 of the biggest stadiums in Scotland's League One. From freezing cold winds to stunning Highland views, each of these grounds has its own unique charm. Which one is your favorite? Have you ever visited any of these grounds? Let us know in the comments. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon so you never miss out on more incredible football content.